la squadra degli Axolotl. Intanto
sì.
Chad prende l'informazione ultimate e arriva l'ultimate a parte dietro, prova a salvare il compagno, a chiuderlo all'interno della cage, non ci riesce e morirà anche lui nel tentativo di fare questa giocata. Doppio vantaggio ancora una volta, qui addirittura Vega si...
Today, I'm gonna blow your nips off. Because we got a Deadlock mirror match in a pro game, and Deadlock was actually good. Now, one of the teams is called Axolotl as well, and it's here on Bind, and we're going to take a look at this first round here, and I just want you to see if you can spot the common Deadlock mistake in this round.
Spike lasciata dietro di sé, Fontana in solitaria, non esattamente un quadrante in cui ha grossa agency, è vero che è il pistol, forse anche per questo Drast un po' disrespecta e percorre da solo questo quadrante. Prima importante uccisione di Frandina, che mette la zampata, mette il first blood, ritarda il push da queste parti.
Bello comunque il setup sul pistol, incredibilmente fastidioso ovviamente nel pistol, era anche prima Deadlock, questa non è una cosa che scopriamo adesso. Muro da un lato, trap dall'altro, qui decidono comunque di provare l'execute all'interno del site, arriva la flash su Drast che poi chiude dall'altro lato, occhio arriva lo stun su Alien, nessuno va al pick, si affaccia adesso Frandina con la seconda del round, poi l'altro headshot, prova a dargli una mano Xad all'interno del site, eccolo Xad che si affaccia, 1-2 veloce, 1-0 per gli Axolotl.
So, did you spot the mistake? Because to me, it came here as the attackers are coming in onto the site. And I do think that, and you will see a lot of Deadlock value in this game, but it's this just barrier mesh just there that you just saw thrown. Now, I know that the guy is flashed, so it makes sense, but it's just coming in here. And let me talk about why I don't love this. Because to me, this is a bit of a holdover from an old Sage Wall, right? You can do a Sage Wall here, and it's fine, because everyone here can't see what's going on. Because when you come down and just throw a Deadlock wall like this isn't a great wall, right? Because your opponents can still see through it, so they can still get a very good vision on what's going on. And your teammates in particular might not fully realize that this is the wall that you've put down, and so might not realize that people can still see them out here. Because you can get those barriers from, for instance, all the way back here if you really want to, right? If you do get yourself into this position, that kind of barrier that I just throw just there, you know, is perfectly good. And again, this means that they can't get past this angle without destroying the wall, so you know that they have to be there, right? And you can even do it from here, although it is very tricky to do so. I did manage a couple times to get it up and over. But now let's skip ahead to round number 4, where we'll see some real Deadlock value.
Ma gli Axolotl, un giocatore diverso da quello che è, vestendo tutte le altre casacche possibili di rinascimento. Per ora per lui un ruolo da MVP fondamentale. E ancora una volta azzecca il suo positioning, va a occupare il sito che verrà attaccato, è pronto a tirare questo muro.
Eccola qua, l'ultimate, prende pure l'ultimate, quindi dovrebbe arrivare l'uccisione su Vega. Poi ancora Frandina proprio su di lui, e quindi...
I don't think you'll ever see all of Deadlock's utility being used to create so much value. It starts off here, obviously, with the Gravnet and the nade coming in together, right? So as soon as they hear the dog coming in here, it's like, okay, we know where you are. Gravnet, nade here, dog can't go anywhere, I'm in massive trouble, Sky dies. Easy kill, right? But then, as we run this forward even more, you see how the wall is positioned here. You're going to see that this raise after the ult does get broken out of it, but gets broken out on the other side of the wall, right? So it's an auto-free kill there as well, and just to make sure, the raise also got stunned from the sonic sensor. But that's not all, because if we skip further ahead in that round, we then see the other Deadlock get massive value from the ult.
È filtrato gratis on-site Trust, che è anche provvisto di ulti, lo raggiunge Basia per giocare il 2v3. Occhio.
Sì, altra arma tolta, questa è molto importante.
Round.
Qui Basia ha un bell'angolo, apre adesso la sua smoke, c'è lo stun. Finalmente arriva anche Lando a dare una mano al suo compagno. Qui Basia non ha a disposizione molli, ma fa tutto il giro per raggrupparsi al compagno. Non vogliono ripetere lo stesso errore di prima. Tra l'altro la Spike è posizionata proprio per loro. Avanzano con calma dall'altro lato, Lando e Rivale. Da quella posizione Drast non può fare niente, se no il corpo ha l'ultimate a disposizione, però arriva il primo tap della Spike. Occhio all'ultimate di Drast, molto lenti nella manovra qui gli Axolotl. Eccola qua, arriva l'ultimate a disposizione. Non connette, ma non c'è praticamente più tempo di andare al defuse di questa Spike. Arriva la doppia per Lando, ma il round è finito così. Riescono a vincere Vix nonostante non avessero le armi.
So in that round, we basically saw the defensive side get 2 kills from using their Deadlock utility. Amazing. And then on the other side, we see them win the round because the Deadlock ult creates so much delay. Obviously, you can't be on the spike whilst the Deadlock ult is still there. But it was the next round and the next little clip that fully sold me on Deadlock. This is amazing.
Altro vantaggio per gli Axolotl, si affaccia per un attimo Trust, non riesce a vincere lo scontro però, poi cade nella nest, succede di tutto su base che prova a togliersi la nest in una valla di lacrime, full combo.
Look, and I knew that you could pair it with an aftershock and potentially get kills, but that's all in theory. To actually see it in a pro game is crazy. And what happens here is they hear the Skydog coming up, and I think that they don't actually know that someone is here. They just kind of sense like, hey, someone's probably following this Skydog. And so they decide to just go for it, right? They go for it here. They go for the aftershock. They go for it. They get it, right? What's funny is we're about to get really overkill here, essentially. Because when this Viper decides to, you know, try and take off the Gravnet thing, then that makes the Sonic Sensor go off. Which I think is it's just kind of funny that that's, you know, just like an overkill. Like you aren't getting out of this, right? So you see that as soon as they try to go on it, the stun comes in as well. That is unbelievably funny. And there's more to come as well. They actually try that same kind of trick again. It doesn't quite go as well, but there's other value found from the Deadlock here in round 9.
Iniziano a vedersi spesso le due squadre da queste parti, si picca molto l'asciutto, si picca anche il Utilities, è un po' incauto, Vega.
E qui Lando quasi gratis su Trust, che procca le utility proposte da Frandina. Vipara vuole andare a prendere spazio, arriva la flash per il pick da parte di Ricky, buona la net, bella la combo, ancora una volta Bara riesce ad andare via.
And you're probably noticing from these clips like, oh, this team knows how to actually use Deadlock and is finding consistent value with it, right? And it comes from some of the setups, right? That with a Sonic Sensor in here, you know that if you're this Brim and someone swings in hooker, they're going to try and fight you up on here on this box. It's a fairly common fight that happens in pro games, but you know that they're going to try and shoot at me, that's going to go off, and I'm going to get a free kill, right? It's just really genius. And to be fair, the Aftershock combo here probably would have worked and would have killed this guy. They're just a tiny bit short on this Gravnet, as you'll see. The Gravnet is just a tiny bit short. It still gets them the kill on the Omen, but the Sky is just able to avoid it. But if not, this Sky was dead as well. And in the very next round, we're going to see even more value come from the Deadlock.
È una mappa difensiva, le squadre si sono per lo più parcheggiati su una buona agent comp per la difesa.
Sì, entrambe le squadre hanno ottime capacità difensive. Tra l'altro, pensavo che Ricky volesse sfruttare un pochettino di più Breach anche in difesa, però vedo che di giocate aggressive in tandem con Breach ne stanno facendo poche, ne fanno più con il retake. In attacco dovrebbe avere qualcosina in più come strumento la squadra degli Axolotl. Intanto Trad prende l'informazione ultimate e arriva l'ultimate da parte di Deadlock, prova a salvare il compagno, a chiuderlo all'interno della cage, non ci riesce e morirà anche lui nel tentativo di fare questa giocata. Doppio vantaggio ancora una volta, qui addirittura Vega si inventa.
And what I've really enjoyed about the clips I've shown you thus far is that there's synergy with multiple agents here, right? We've seen the synergy with the Breach, we've seen the synergy with the Raids. Now we see the synergy with the Sky as well, as the Sky gets the info, someone's down long, and so then we're gonna see like, okay, yeah, let's go for this ult, right? So they see that Grevnet come in from the Deadlock, you know, they're gonna check, just is someone there? Yes, they are. Okay, ult, away we go, we get the kill, and then we actually the ult comes back but misses from the attack side. Then we get the dueling walls because they know that obviously this is going to be a fight now for this body essentially. The Sky comes out, swings, get the kill. Obviously then they get the other one, and then the Deadlock actually manages to get another kill here through the smoke as well. And so it just, you can tell that this team knows what they are doing with this agent, and it's just so cool to watch. One other thing that I need to mention that is probably something you've never thought about with Deadlock is the fact that she doesn't have a range on her sonic sensors, and they use that to their advantage. Like in that round, they have this setup where on bind you're going to have a weak side with 2 and a strong side with 3. That's how it's often going to be on the defensive side. Well, we don't have a range on these sonic sensors, so let's put them on the weak side, and look, you can see like, hey, if they come and plant the spike down here on A, they're going to get stunned. You know, let's throw a nade, let's throw an aftershock on that, right? And see if we can get a kill from that. Like, it's smart, it's clever, you can tell they know what's going on. But then when we swap sides, the other team actually had some Deadlock uses as well. They went with a bit of a different approach.
Mangia questo gol a porta vuota, causando un possibile 8-8 qui, perché non è solo il terzo round, è anche il quarto se gli Axolotl vanno in eco e soffrono naturalmente il divario di armi.
So yeah, they went with a kind of Odin approach in some of these rounds, which again is one that can work pretty well for Deadlock. We've seen this kind of thing work on Ascent as well, right? Where you're in this kind of position, you know, you can throw Gravnets and stuff, you know, with your Sova darts and stuff, and then start spamming. Of course, anyone caught in this Gravnet that, you know, comes down here, like, you know, they're not escaping any Odin spam that comes through this wall, right? So you can see, again, we have more synergies to play with. And obviously, Deadlock has received quite a few buffs to get her into this point where she can find value. But I think, really, the buff that I think made Deadlock actually playable is the fact that the sonic sensors aren't useless anymore, right? The fact that they do stun quick. And in this instance, and we saw both teams do this a lot, this stun here, obviously, for the drop out of Hooker, you're going to make a noise when you drop out. It's going to stun you. And you can take a look at this map right now. You can see that this team is heavy quick on its way to B. And it's just the Sky here alone. But this sonic sensor is going to allow Sky to win this round.
Fila degli Axolotl che si devono ricongiungere, chiamata a rotazione su B.
Avevano trovato l'Odin, era il caso di sgomberare senza trattenersi oltre. Invece fanno uno pari sulle kill i VX.
Qui serve la gran giocata di Bara, sempre lui, lo vanno a prendere in due, eccolo il primo shot da parte di Bara, la seconda, la terza da parte di Bara, Bara contro tutti sul site, poi finalmente Richivala riesce a dire basta, ma Bara ha fatto più di quello che doveva fare, sempre lui a tirare per i capelli VX, e allora Richivala deve dare la risposta di carattere, ci vuole aggressività adesso, bisogna mandare un segnale, eccolo qua il primo shot da parte di Ricky, c'è subito il trade da parte di Bara.
But of course that sonic sensor is not only one that the defenders can use.
Sad, Bara però alla meglio su di lui, qui Vega si potrebbe inventare una grande giocata dentro con la nade, deve andare via, decide di giocare comunque all'interno della smoke, 3 contro 3 shot da parte di Vega, ancora aspetta gli avversari con lo shorty, non lo vanno a sfidare, quindi può tornare indietro, sta arrivando intanto la cavalleria dall'altro lato, teleport pure di Bara per dargli una mano, Dras con l'Odin, la freccia del compagno in realtà non l'aiuta granché. Frandina a controllare un eventuale push in 2 su backside, eccolo qua lo shot da parte di Frandina. Se affaccia anche Bara all'informazione, deve entrare sul site, arriva la trappola fortissima, si affaccia Frandina all'altro lato, esce pure Vega, finalmente gli Axolotl riescono.
So overall, this game convinced me like, oh, Deadlock, when used correctly, you can actually find a lot of value from it, particularly if it's going to be a surprise pick as well that your opponent maybe doesn't expect you to go for. There's a lot that you can potentially do, and particularly in some of those combos with agents like Raze and agents like Breach, there's a lot of potential value to be found here for Deadlock, so rejoice everyone, Deadlock might actually be pretty decent.